Welcome to Retire Smart Maryland. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Prashant Sabapathy and Nick Interbickler of Elite Income Advisors. And to our viewers at home, there is a very interesting study that was just published recently by Yahoo Finance, and it says that millennials are slated to be the richest generation in history, but they are very ill prepared. How will they manage? Prashant, how are you today?
I'm doing excellent. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. And Nick, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. We all kind of coordinate a little bit today with the colors. I love it. Well, this study is very interesting to me, this Yahoo Finance. Wow, millennials are slated to be the richest generation in history, but they are very ill prepared. Prashant, how are they going to manage?
I bet our audience is probably sitting at home saying, I don't think that sounds correct. Millennials are going to be the richest generation, but we have to talk about it. The reason for that is because there's going to be a huge transfer of wealth over the next 20 years or so. People who are heading into retirement today, or maybe even already retired, have accumulated a heck of a lot of wealth because they haven't had to spend that wealth down due to the fact that most people retiring in the last, 10, 15, 20 years had a pension. So that has allowed them to not touch their retirement savings. And so one day, this wealth is going to transfer to the next generation. And I think if you are retired today or you're getting close to retirement, you have to be concerned over how the next generation is going to be prepared, or ill prepared, I should say, to actually handle this huge influx of wealth, especially because I think the attitude among millennials has been kind of tainted over the last several years due to really high inflation. Student loan debt is crippling. Job market's been really difficult, especially since the Great Recession. All these things have contributed to a financial attitude that I think millennials are not going to be as prepared as they maybe could have been or should have been when they inherit this wealth. Something to talk about, especially if you've done a great job saving money. You got to be concerned about how that money is going to be handled when you're gone one day.
And one point about that, why this transfer of wealth is very different than it was prior to 2020 is because these retirees, mom and dad, have large 401ks that are taxable. And with the Secure Act passed in late 2019, now you have to, when you inherit money from mom and dad that was in an IRA or a 401k, you have to distribute that over 10 years. So one of the things that we always talk about education, it's important to have a plan, but you're not wanting mom and dad to leave us prematurely, but you have to have a plan. Your parents should hopefully have a plan, a good estate plan, to make sure that these assets transfer as efficiently as possible, and take into account that if you're making a good salary and now you have to take distributions from IRAs over a 10-year period, you may end up being a very, very high tax bracket for a 10-year period of time. So what is your plan for doing so?
Yeah, absolutely. And older generations often perceive millennials as lazy and more interested in spending money on avocado toast. Okay, who doesn't like avocado toast? Let's be realistic.
I love it.
But they might have a chip on their shoulder, They get a bad rap, millennials. And we have some millennials, and we'll talk about Prashant. But they do have a bit of a bad reputation out there, unfortunately. Avocado toast is delicious.
It is very, very good. Yes, absolutely. So how do you help people manage this? If someone's in the audience right now, they're a millennial, they're tuning in, they're thinking, yes, you know what, mom and dad, I know I'm going to get an inheritance.
Yeah.
What should I do with it? How am I prepared?
You look at it from the side of the parent, and you look at it from the side of the children as well, right? And so, I talk about my family a lot. My parents came over to the United States in the 80s. For pursuit of the American dream. And part of that American dream was being able to leave your children in a better circumstance than what you had. And that's what my parents always told me. That was the whole reason that we came to America to begin with, for opportunity and to give our kids a better life. So one thing I think you have to look at, if you're in the retiring generation now, if you're already retired, is you got to look at how to protect yourself and protect your wealth so that it does transfer to your beneficiaries. One way to kind of approach that is to look at what kind of risks you actually face that could derail your retirement plan and really eat into the wealth that you've spent a lifetime accumulating. One thing that comes to mind for me, it's very personal to me, is having to go through a long-term care expense, right? So I've shared it on the show for years now. My mom was diagnosed with dementia when she was 57 years old. It was 8 years before she passed away. And by the time she had passed, our family was spending $10,000 per month after taxes to be able to take care of my mom in the home. And that's so much money. And if you don't properly plan, even if you did a great job saving money, maybe you did a great job accumulating $1 million or $2 million, $10,000 a month can really cut in to even the most significant amount of retirement savings. So part of the wealth transfer is not only making sure it gets where it needs to go in the most efficient way possible, but it's actually making sure that it's well protected before you even get to that point. And that goes to the protection of your money due to the markets, protection against long-term healthcare costs, protection against inflation, all these things, protection against taxes. All these things are highly important topics that I think go underplanned for when we think about the legacy piece of how you're going to transfer your money to your heirs one day.
Yes, because I know that people don't even want to think about leaving a huge tax burden to their children, because what you mentioned is you're in your high working years, your high earning years, if you will. And when you lose a loved one and that money comes your way, it can bump you into a higher tax bracket if you're unprepared.
Just take a look at where tax brackets are now versus where they're scheduled to be in a year or two, right? And so if you look at where tax rates are today, we saw marginal income tax rates reduce under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, anywhere from 1 to maybe 6%, depending on the bracket that you were in. But those brackets are going to change. When the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act sunsets at the end of 2025, tax brackets are likely to go back up. And so if you were to pass away and leave your retirement money to your beneficiary, they only have 10 years, like Nick said before, they only have 10 years to withdraw that money. The old rules, by the way, were that they could stretch the tax hit out over the course of their entire lifetime. If I passed away, left money to my 30-year-old child, he or she could then, in theory, stretch the tax liability out over 60 years if they live to be 90. And now it's just 10 years.
Wow.
I said wasn't like a hidden tax increase
on
retirees and on their families. So, you know, and it's amazing to me the amount of people that don't know that exists.
Yes.
That I got an email recently from a client that the stretch IRA still exists, and you know, it's been gone for almost 5 years now. So, or over 5 years. So it's something that, you know, again, education is important, and planning, no matter what it is, if it's for retirement or legacy and handing money off to the next generation, having a plan for how to most efficiently do that.
You know what drives me crazy about this is what you said. Not too many people know about it.
Yes.
And what drives me crazy is not that people don't know about it, it's that our government doesn't publicize this stuff in a way that is meaningful to all of our viewers out there. When they passed the Secure Act, remember when they passed that? Didn't that bill pass like right around the holidays where everyone was doing anything other than listening to financial news and political news?
That happens.
You're right.
Every time there's a big spending bill, it's buried amongst a bunch of other things. We never hear about the really important things that actually affect our life. And so this is why it's so important to work with a professional who's tuned into these types of issues each and every day. That's what we do for a living. That's why when you come in to visit with us, and we'll put the phone number up here, it's 833-308-5200. You'll be able to schedule a visit with our team at Elite Income Advisors. You'll come in, you'll meet with our specialists. You determine whether or not we're even the right fit for you. But if we end up working together, part of the process is reviewing your financial and retirement plan on an ongoing basis. We'll do maintenance on it depending on what's going on in the stock market, what's going on with your income plan, and what is going on with legislative risk and political changes. All these things have some sort of domino effect on your financial plan. If you've never visited the impact that legislative change could have on your retirement, pick up the phone, give us a call. It's 833-308-5200. It's a complimentary visit to come in and meet with our team.
Prashant, thank you so much. And Nick, thank you. To the viewers at home, that number to call is 833-308-5200. If you're in the viewing audience today and you're hearing a lot of this information for the very first time, you deserve to make that call today. That number again is 833-308-5200, or you can grab your smartphone, click on that QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. That will take you right to the landing page for Elite Income Advisors. You can schedule your time accordingly. You deserve it. We'll be back after this very short commercial break.
We have a great team. First of all, we wouldn't be able to do anything that we do without our fantastic team of both advisors and service and support specialists.
We are trying to hire the best of the best, because also the servicing the clients is an important part of our business.
And once you become a client, you'll not only have interaction with your advisor on an ongoing basis, but our great support team.
And we are very proud of that what we do at the Elite Income Advisors, the service. Whenever someone calls, whatever they need, they don't need to call the 1-800 number. We want them to call us. We'll take care of whatever they need.
Marrying the financial plan with a good tax plan and a qualified CPA, and then having a support team to help you through navigating through retirement, that's what I think it's all about. And that's what really creates a comprehensive financial plan.
Welcome back to Retire Smart Maryland. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Prashant Sabapathy and Nick Interbickler of Elite Income Advisors. Very important show today. We're talking about all of these topics that are actually making headline news, if you will. This actually came from CNBC.com. The average consumer carries $6,200 in credit card debt, and more borrowers are falling behind on their payments. I saw this study recently, and what's scary is that people are actually borrowing from their 401k to pay off credit card debt. Prashant, your thoughts on that?
I think people are in a tough position right now. And I think oftentimes we talk on the show about what to do if you've accumulated $1 million or $2 million. And sometimes I think we have to take a step back because not everybody is in that position. And by the way, if you're not in that position, that is totally okay. All right. It's been a rough couple years here in the economy. Inflation has been through the roof. Maybe you've done a pretty good job saving and you're just not sure if what you've saved is quite enough. When you come in to visit with us, it's not about how much money you have. It's about whether or not what you have is actually working for you in the most efficient way to see if there is a path to a fulfilling retirement. Credit cards are a huge issue that have been kind of a reality of the last couple of years with expenses going up, savings going down. People are taking on more credit card debt. And so I think what you have to do is you have to put in a concrete plan, like a written plan, not just an idea, but a written plan for how you're going to pay down that debt in a meaningful way so that you can retire smart and retire comfortably. And that really starts with sitting down with a professional and putting a plan together, especially if you feel overwhelmed by it. Yeah. So many times people come in and they just tell me, look, I feel like I'm defeated. I feel like I'm overwhelmed. But by the time they leave our office, not in every case, but in a lot of cases, we're able to actually put a plan together that gives them a heck of a lot of comfort. If you find yourself in that situation, it's totally normal. It's okay. But there are ways to put a solution in place.
Sure.
And they make it very easy for the average person to get some sort of loan, right? And you talked about 401ks and taking loans on 401ks. And, you know, we've all been faced with higher costs over the last several years, whether it's auto insurance, homeowners insurance. You know, if you live in Florida, we have clients that live down there. Yeah. That, you know, there's only a couple of insurers that are covering home insurance down there. So it's very easy to get into debt. And in some cases, unfortunately, I think it's a mindset or it's a habit, and you got to figure out a way to break that. And, you know, it's very easy to order avocado toast on DoorDash and, you know, get a Starbucks drive-through coffee in the morning. And these things, you know, our life is very simple in some cases. We have access to so many things, and it can get away from you. So, you know, and you know, the millennials we talked about in the previous segment, it's, school debt, and then if you had, you want to buy a house and you add credit card debt, it just can snowball, and it's trying to get a grasp of that. And as Prashant said, everybody's different. Every experience we see, there's no unique, everything is unique, and we want people to come in and not feel like they're going to be judged, right? We're here to help people.
Yes.
We're here to educate, and we're here to help people, I think, in most cases, be in a better position when they leave our office than when they came in.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought that up, Nick, because a lot of times people are feeling like, oh my gosh, I've made such financial mistakes in my past. I'm so embarrassed to talk to a financial planner. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. We've all been in that position where you just need to borrow to make ends meet. It's just part of life for a lot of people.
Yep.
It really is, and honestly, we've all been there.
Yes.
If you find yourself in that position, it just means that you're probably like a human being and you've been through hard times, and so that's okay. But we can't go backwards. All we can do is move forwards. I think when you get into a hard position, you just want to make sure that moving forward, you're in the most efficient position possible. What you don't want to do is you don't want it to spiral out of control. And believe it or not, we've been able to help so many folks with their debt payoff plan, so that by the time they get to retirement, they have all the income they need. They're not saddled with this higher interest debt that acts as an anchor on their retirement plan. That's a really powerful thing. And a lot of people, quite frankly, are in a better position than they actually give themselves credit for, but they don't know it because they've never met with an independent fiduciary who's looked at the entire situation to help them understand what their financial position actually looks like.
Absolutely. And again, it is about working with a fiduciary, putting the client's interest first. So in case people have multiple credit cards in our viewing audience, when they come in and they sit with you, do you recommend, Prashant, that they pay the smallest one down first and then you kind of work your way up? Or do you look at the higher interest rates? You recommend payments on those? How do you help people navigate in case they're wondering right now?
I think you can look at it as if it's a math problem, and just try to minimize how much interest you pay. But personally, I think financial planning is just as much mathematical as it is mindset and emotional, right? And not everybody agrees with that, but that's how I feel, and that's how we've seen people have the most success. And so to me, I love the idea of getting debts paid as quick as possible. So I would list them out, lowest to highest, pay off the lowest one first, and then roll that payment into the next one, because I think it's about mindset. When you feel like you're making progress, that incentivizes you to do more. And I think we've all kind of been there. And so with that being said, it really comes down to which strategy is the right strategy for you. If you're uncertain about where your income is going to come from in retirement, if you're uncertain about how you're going to get your debt paid off, whether it's credit cards or a car payment or even your mortgage, if that's important to you to get it paid off before you retire, but you're not sure the best way, all I want you to do is pick up your phone, dial this phone number. It's 833-308-5200. You dial that phone number. Our team is standing by, ready to book your appointment. You do have to have your calendar in front of you because they're going to be ready to give you an appointment date and time. You'll come into the office, into our headquarters. We have a big, beautiful office in Allocation City. You'll be able to sit down in a confidential setting that'll be totally free, totally complimentary. You'll just have a conversation with our team of specialists. Maybe we'll find that we're a good fit for each other, that we like each other, and that we can put a plan together for you. Maybe you'll just come to our office, get some pointers on which direction to go, and you can take it from there. But it all starts with coming in for that initial visit. If you take the hour out of your day to come in, I think that it will be worth your time. 833-308-5200. You can also pull out your smartphone, scan the QR code here in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and you can book an appointment online as well.
Prashant, thank you so much. Nick, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, that number to call is 833-308-5200. We realize you're in the viewing audience. Perhaps you have a lot of questions for Prashant, Nick, and Ozzy. This is the perfect time for you to call in, 833-308-5200, and book your complimentary consultation. We're going to take a very short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. I have so much more on Retire Smart Maryland when we return.
Do you own an annuity? Are you aware of what type of annuity you own? For years, annuities have been a cornerstone of retirement planning, but they're not all created equal, and your current annuity might not be serving your retirement goals. The good news is rising interest rates could mean better guarantees and better benefits for your existing annuity. If your annuity is not working for you, when would you like to know? Call now for your complimentary annuity review.
Welcome back to Retire Smart Maryland. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Prashant Sabapathy and Nick Interbickler of Elite Income Advisors. And gentlemen, this is a great show we're having today, just chock full of information. I want to stay a little bit, if we could, on the debt train, because I know a lot of people have questions when they're coming into the office for the first time. Nick, how often do you have people come in and say, you know, I'm unsure about this. I think I want to pay off my mortgage. What advice do you have for those folks?
So, as we've talked about in previous episodes, I deal with a lot of what we call our legacy clients. They've been with us 10, 15, in some cases 20 years. Some of them have been with our company longer than I have. And some of them still have balances on their mortgage, $100,000, $50,000, whatever, and they've got money in the bank. And they come to me and say, Nick, should we just write a check and pay it off? You know, at that point, you're not getting much of a tax deduction any longer off of the interest that you're paying on that. It's mostly principal. I think it's a personal choice, but I would say that the people that I tend to work with, our clients, what I find the most successful ones have a couple of really good things going for them. They have money in the bank. They've got really good retirement assets. They've got very good income sources, pensions, Social Security, et cetera, and they have no debt. That mortgage, not having that hanging over your head, now you still have to pay taxes and insurance, but not having a monthly payment of $1,500 or $2,000 a month to carry into retirement. I think it's a great goal. If you're gonna sit down and put together a plan and you identify what's important, wanna leave a legacy, you wanna move to the Carolinas, Tennessee, wherever you wanna move, is paying off that mortgage important enough to really focus on that? And I think I've come across a lot of our clients that, you know, they say, hey, Nick, I pay an extra $200 or $250, $300, $500 a month on my principal because I do want that to be gone. And not having that large, you know, again, a large portion of your income in retirement go to a house, I think is a very powerful thing.
Sure, sure.
It's really, to me, when it comes to paying down debt, look, taking something like your mortgage into retirement is a personal choice. It's really a comfort zone question. But I think debt becomes an issue in the absence of income.
Yes.
Okay, and we talk about income planning. It's by far the number one thing that we talk about at all of our workshops, all of our seminars, TV, radio, podcasts. We talk about income. I mean, the name of the company is Elite Income Advisors, and we named it that because it's all about your income when you get to retirement. The higher your income is, typically, the better your outcome is going to be when you get to that retirement phase. So if you do carry a mortgage into retirement, that could be the right thing for you, but you have to make sure that you have enough income to support that mortgage payment. And when I say income, what I'm really talking about is reliable, foundational, guaranteed income that will be there for us every single month, every single year for the rest of our lifetime. And so I was meeting with somebody the other day. They had about $750,000 saved for retirement. And so they had done a pretty good job saving, but they had just refinanced their house 5 or 6 years ago. They're on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. It's unlikely that they're going to be able to pay the house off before they get to retirement. They were already, 62, 63 years old. And so as a planner, we had to plan for them to carry this $2,500 a month payment through the balance of their retirement, highly likely. So what we ended up doing is, of the $750,000 that they had saved, now they did have some pensions and Social Security that they can count on, but that pension and Social Security was not enough to cover all their expenses, including the mortgage.
Okay.
So what we did with the $750,000 is, instead of leaving it all in the stock market, which could go up, could go down, and provides us an unreliable source of income, we actually reallocated about $250,000, about a third of their retirement portfolio. We put it in a safe and secure bucket that's going to provide them a paycheck each and every month and year for the rest of their lifetime, regardless of how long they live. And with that income, they will have everything they need after taxes to ensure that that mortgage payment is always going to be taken care of. And by the way, it doesn't matter if the market goes up, down, or sideways. Doesn't matter who gets into office in any election cycle. Doesn't matter what's going on around the world. They can count on this income security for the rest of your life, the rest of their life. And I think the big thing there is that they had no idea that this option was even available. It's just because they took the time to schedule the appointment and come in. And by the way, what we're talking about, those annuities, they're not a great fit for every single person out there, but they were able to help this couple secure their income for the future and make sure that they could carry their mortgage into retirement. Very powerful stuff. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people just don't know about it.
And it's a shame because they should know about these things. They're such viable options. And Nick, peace of mind, you can't even put a price tag on that.
Again, the legacy clients that I work with have been with us a very long time. A lot of them came to us after the financial crisis in 2008, and they bought into these types of accounts. And they, I think to a person, say, this was the best decision I ever made. I don't have to worry about elections, interest rates, the stock market, political, world turmoil. They know that reliably, one, their principal's protected. So if we have a big correction at some point, they're safe and secure. But sleeping well at night is the thing that we've talked about with these people. And they 100% say, Nick, because of you guys, because of what you did, we feel great about our retirement.
And there's a trade-off. When you use safer accounts, there is a trade-off. I mean, you're giving up some level of growth in exchange for total peace of mind and security. But this is why you don't put all your eggs in any one basket, right? You shouldn't make, in my opinion, most people shouldn't make 100% of their retirement savings totally safe. I think that there is risk in being too conservative.
Of course.
But there's also clearly a lot of risk in being too aggressive as well. Most often, having a balance in couple different buckets of money, a safe bucket and a risk bucket, is oftentimes a great way to structure your retirement plan and, more importantly, structure your retirement income. If your advisor hasn't talked to you about the potential of bucketing your money to make sure that you have enough income to meet all of your retirement income needs, pick up the phone, give us a call, 833-308-5200. Come on in. Take a look at that bucketing analysis. Take a look at your income for life plan. We'll do a risk analysis and a Social Security optimization plan as well. All starts with that phone call. Last opportunity for today's program. It's 833-308-5200.
Prashant, thank you so much. Nick, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, most specifically, we'd like to thank you for spending time with us today. That number is 833-308-5200. Be safe, be happy, and be blessed. We'll see you back 1 week from today. Take care now.